3.12, your performance. Your students are continuously evaluating your performance and forming opinions. I tell my son, Michael, everybody is always watching you all the time. It never ends. And it just takes one event, one time, to lose credibility. And you lose credibility, well then, you know what? I don't know what I can believe anymore. And I know that I'm a leader, and I know I'm on a whatever it is that people need to have. What is it? Figures, leadership figures. I don't know what it is. They need to have people that they can trust. They're like, okay.
Mentors.
Well, I was thinking, just like you have I won't say a hero, but I mean, you want to have people that you can trust, and it's all of a sudden you see somebody. We've all had people that we thought were whatever, and all of a sudden you realize, you were a phony. I thought you knew the code, or I thought you did this, and I realized you're just making it up. How disappointing is that to lose the confidence of that person? And so there's a huge responsibility, me, Mike Holt, and Mike Holt Enterprises, and what you guys do, right, for us. And you're writing the books, and you're creating the curriculums, and Eric, you're out there training, that it's really important to me that we keep a very, very high standard. And so as an instructor, but doesn't matter how it is, how mine's way up there, but if you're an instructor in a class, they're continuously evaluating you. They're continuously. And you got to realize that you got to, I'm sorry, you're on stage, you are a performer, you cannot let them down, you're the leader. Your performance. You're responsible are you responding in a positive manner to help each student answer the following questions? Is this instructor prepared, and does he care? I think I am. Am I glad I came here? Trust me, you're going to be glad you came here. I'll tell you that in advance. I'll brainwash you before you even get in the door. Is this instructor a phony? No. Does this instructor know what he's talking about? Yes. Is this instructor giving me everything he has? I know he is. How do you know that? Simple little things. He's there. He's there. He's not rushing out. He's not cutting me off. He's giving me his phone number. I can't tell you how many tens of thousands of people have my telephone number. How many tens of thousands of people have my email address. People call me. I answer the phone. Hey, hey, Mike speaking. Mike? I'm like, yeah. Oh, I didn't know you were going to answer the phone. I'm like, well, you called me. That's how it works. Well, I know, but I thought that, somebody sent an email. Hey, this is from Mike. I don't know if somebody screens Mike's email. Then I'm like, nope, that's just me. Call me now. Brian, you see my emails I send out to people. Call me. I'm not quite sure I understand what it is. So, that's part of my commitment, right? We're talking about being a great instructor. We're talking about being a leader. We're talking about being the person that's going to make a difference, because we're passing the baton on to the next generation, because we're going to be gone here one day. We really want to make sure that you guys are coming up. That's why our products are where they are. That's what everything that we're doing is to make sure we're bringing that industry up. Continuing on. What's the point? I can't tell you how many times I get done with a conversation. I'm like, I have no clue what that guy was talking about. None. I'm totally lost. Give me a beginning. Tell me what you're going to tell me. Make it relevant to me, right? Make sure you have the passion. Make sure you know what you're talking about. Make it simple. Distill it down to what I have to have. Let me know what it is. Give me some examples. Make it exciting. Make it fun. Then challenge me to be able to continue that information. I got the point. I know exactly what you want to do, boss. If you don't know the answer to a question, I had a guy ask me a question. I guess this is a common thing for instructors, that they're uncomfortable when they don't know the answer to a question. And I'm going to see if I have any streamers giving me any comments on that. But listen, I don't lie, because I can't remember anything. I can't remember what I might have told you yesterday. So if I told you something, I just wouldn't remember. And don't tell me a secret. I didn't know. I wasn't supposed to tell you. I told you don't tell anybody. Yeah, did you really tell me that? Yeah, it's not supposed to be something that you're supposed to tell. I need you to sign a non-disclosure agreement. You want me to sign a non-disclosure? You're going to tell me information that I'm not supposed to tell anybody else? Oh, I can't handle that. I mean, I can't remember what I'm not supposed to tell somebody, so I can't sign any non-disclosures agreements inside here. Okay? So that's the way I'm going to be. So you don't know an answer to a question? I'm just going to be transparent. I don't know. I've had this happen. You don't know. Like, and I don't get defensive. I'm like, no, I don't know. I have no clue. Well, I'm like, listen, you don't understand something. I don't care. Not only do I not know, I don't care that I don't know. So the guy goes nuts on me, and I'm like, so you're trying to tell me that you don't really care? He says, do you think people get killed by that? I'm like, yeah. And you don't care that people get killed by that? I'm like, no, doesn't bother me at all. That's not my crusade. That's not my problem. I got enough things that I'm trying to do that I care about. That's something that you care about. Usually somebody's selling a product, right? That they're trying to sell some kind of product, and they're trying to, well, oh, you mean you don't care? I'm like, nope, I don't care. You know? So I don't know. I don't know. Next one. Don't lie to students to try to cover up. I don't know if I've ever lied to a student. I guess somebody would lie to a student and tell them something. I'm sure it's happened. Say something is not true. Sure. Well, we couldn't get the test because of this, and well, we couldn't able to get this. Just tell the guy, look. If you make a mistake, admit it. Some of you guys that have seen my newsletter, I've been sending a newsletter out since 1995, so that's 20 years. I think it's about 3 times. I send out, right now we're sending it out to about 73,000 people. I sent out a newsletter, and it was a big deal. I mean, it was AFCIs in one of those, and another one had to do with grounding. And I mean, I sent it, and you got to realize that everything I do is strategy, right? So I'm sending it, and I'm thinking, heart rate's going. I can feel the sheen of blood on my skin, and I'm thinking, should I do this or should I not do this? And sometimes what I'm doing is I'm actually doing it, and the person that I'm going to be hurting is my friend. But to me, right is right and wrong is wrong. So I go, send. And about 15 minutes later, as it goes out to tens of thousands of people that it gets passed on, phone call. And end up finding out I was wrong. And I'm like, oh, man. So, sent out a newsletter to tens of thousands of people that, here's this newsletter. Here's what I said. Maybe what I said was true, but the way I did it was wrong, and I apologize for that. So if you do something wrong, just say I did it but wrong. Something happened recently. Were we in a car talking about something that got fixed? I can't remember what it was. Know your students and be prepared. Impress them. We talked about that. Your performance. Again, clear objectives in the beginning and follow through with them. Give the students everything you have and more. Don't hold anything back. Summary. Establish credibility. Right from the beginning. Find common ground. We got to be in agreement. I will sit down, and I can see when we're going to start talking about classes, when you have high school students, you got people that are disruptive. We're going to get into all those kind of issues there. We might find common ground. And the common ground being like, you know what? You don't want to be in this class, right? And I was like, I don't want you to be in this class. So we're kind of like, we're not even fighting here. We're both in agreement. So we're going to solve that problem because you're going to be gone. So we're agreement here. Because I'm not going to fight with you there. So you're looking for a way that we're working together as a team to achieve a common goal. That's to make you happy. Connect with the listener. Show interest. Dress professionally. Prepare for success. Think about it. All the fundamentals I just talked about earlier, if you went back and you listened to that all again and you make the small adjustments, because we're not talking big deal. This is not even complicated. What I'm saying is nothing here is like profound. This is just like common knowledge stuff that's just put together in a sequence as it relates to, and it does give you some tools to work with it. Man, think about that. You have a professional program. You have a great curriculum. You buy the material. You have students that want to be there. You're motivated. You're enthusiastic. You're prepared. You're committed to them. You're going to have a very, very successful program. People are going to think you're a great instructor. Let's see if I have one more slide here to go. Give it everything that you have. Everything. One thing I know, and Brian, you've seen me. You know, I mean, you didn't see me at a personal level how I work, but you've seen what I've done, and I'm in mountain biking, and it's killing me because I feel I'm only doing 50% of what I want to be able to do. But you see me, I mean, I'm in. But I mean, I'm totally, completely obsessed, and I'm totally in, whatever it's going to be. And when I teach that class, and I walk out the door, and if you're a great instructor, you walk out the door, you're like, if you're going to go to dinner, say, listen, don't ask me what I want to eat, okay? Just order it. Because my brain is gone. I've given everything. That's what it should be. You should be done. Now, we have a couple streaming questions. Let's see if we can get those in there. Oh, here's Don. Hey, Don, can you hear? He says, a favorite morning program host in Chicago many years ago often said to this, if I don't know the answer, I'll be proud to lie to you. That's a Chicago thing.
Chicago.
Hey, I was in Chicago. Don was with me. And Don, you probably remember this. I'm doing a code change seminar. And it was the day that Obama was being reelected. I think it was the first time or the second time. I mean, in Chicago. All right? For the presidential election. And I remember the guys were saying, vote early. How's it go? We say,
vote early, vote often.
That's Chicago voting there.
Right.
Okay. John Hayes. Okay. John Hayes, how do you know you're talking too much?
She tells you.
Your lips are moving.
How do you know you're talking? John, help me give a little more information on that one, and we'll get it. I understand the positive method of teaching. However, licensing exams are not written that way. There are multiple choice answers on purpose. So I try to explain this point to my students to make them aware of the situations. Joe, that's a great question. However, I'm teaching.
Yep.
I'm teaching. I'm not taking you to answer just questions. That's a totally different ball game. First thing I want you to do is I want you, when you take an exam prep course from us, it's theory, it's code, it's calculation, it's the whole ball game. You are learning your skill and craft because if you're going to be a journeyman electrician, you better know what you're doing. Not that you took some kind of course, you answer a bunch of questions and how to pass the test, and then you were licensed, because now it's a terrible thing to be a licensed electrician and that you that you don't know anything. Just that you got a license because you're able to answer multiple questions inside there. So if I'm teaching you, we're going to teach you in the positive method how to do that. Of course, when you start taking exam preparation, then you start getting into some specific questions, because most questions are multiple choice and they're not calculations. And of course, you have the answers inside there. So no, I don't see there's a problem, and we're incredibly successful in our exam preparation products. And so I still stick with our positive thing that we want you to have the right answer, because then you learn it rather than thinking you did okay. But it's just a philosophy, right? I mean, it's just a matter of people thinking one way or the other. Oh, the equal resistance method. Thank you, Joe. I knew there was a third parallel resistance formula, right?
Yeah.
Equal resistance.
But of course, that's a special case. So
now it's all three. How do you keep the nervousness from creating tunnel vision to which you focus on your material instead of on the classroom and the students? I can definitely see that if you get nervous, we're not talking adrenaline, right? We're talking like freaking out. Ah! You know what I mean? And some people, they freak out. And some people, when they get stressed out, it's not adrenaline, like, oh, man, I'm ready to, get the tiger. They're just like, they don't know what to do here. All I can say is that the better prepared you are, right, the less chance you have of just, listen, we're all going to make mistakes. in a class, and we'll talk more about that. It's not going to be perfect. You got to go back at the end of every class. My wife said, I did something, and I rated myself an 8. I can't remember what I did. And she goes, well, you always rate yourself a 6 or a 7. Yeah. You're much better than that. I'm like, I think I did a 9 once in my 40 years. That would be the highest I've ever rated myself, a 9. I think once. That's one of those glowing moments that you're like, my gosh. That happens a couple times in a lifetime. Okay, but other than that, I'm usually rating myself. So I'm always looking to improve. Man, I can't believe I did it that way. I got to work on that there. So you're going to make mistakes. You're going to get nervous. You're going to fall behind. But that's what practice comes from. I don't care what you do, right? It's just a skill set that you're going to be building. That's where the practice comes from. But you know what? If we didn't have this trainer, if you didn't have this information at all, you're just randomly doing things. Imagine how crazy that is. Hopefully this is going to help direct you there.